Hey, Redheads and everyone else listening. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Adrian. And we are so excited about today's episode because I think it's something that every redhead can resonate with. And if you're a mom or you're an aunt or you're a grandma and you're listening in, this episode is all about raising redheads and how to give kids who have red hair confidence. So today's big topic is confidence. We have someone very, very special and perfect in the studio today. It's our mom, Jan, who taught us how to have confidence. She's a natural blonde, so we'll have her on, and she will give you some tips on how she taught us how to be a redhead. And I think we had a great childhood growing up, but we definitely had challenges, right, as redheads.
Yeah, so we grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. I know we talked about this earlier in our episodes, but Adrian and I grew up in a very small Catholic school, and we were the only redheads. It was a very small school where each class, I want to say, was 20, 30 kids.
Yeah.
So I think growing up, you're trying to fit in, you're trying to be like everyone else, but yet you have this red hair that's obviously
so different.
And it's a center of attention while you're at recess, you know, activities that you're doing. And the one thing, you want to kind of be with the cool kids. You want to be with the popular kids and just really fit in. So I think our mom exudes a lot of confidence.
Totally. She's so confident. And when we were on our book tour in 2016, she came with us she was in Boston, she was in Nashville, she went to the West Coast and did Seattle, Portland, San Francisco.
We made her carry our banner.
She was in Charlotte. She was with us for a lot of the times, and a lot of moms would come to our book signing, and their daughters weren't even there. And they would say, my daughter wants to dye her hair, or they even had our mom autographing their books because they were like, well, you raised these two girls, so I want your autograph. So I think, we exude a lot of confidence because of her, and she's just someone who has a lot of natural confidence. I've always told all my friends that she can literally be with someone homeless, or she could be with like the president, and she's the exact same person. And I think that that's really hard to be as someone who's just really authentically themselves. And
right, especially this day and age, you try to fit in with certain people when you talk to certain groups, certain nationalities, certain just different people that you meet on a day-to-day basis. And I think she is just who she is.
She's just who she is. And my friends growing up on a Friday, they're like, can we hang out with your mom? I'm like, no, I don't want to hang out with my mom on a Friday. I want to go out. But I think that she's so herself that it's really refreshing to a lot of people. And so they really love her. So we wanted to introduce her a little bit and express how much we love her.
Her name is Jan Vendetti. She's a natural blonde from Cali. She met our dad from the Boston area, and we grew up in New England in a predominantly Italian neighborhood. We had a really hard time fitting in, and our mom really helped us embrace who we were. So, for today's topic being all about raising redheads and confidence, there's no better guest than our mom, Jan. The H2Bar Box, a monthly beauty subscription box for redheads. Each box is worth $80 plus, and each product is redhead-friendly approved.
Head to h2barbox.com to subscribe and use code PODCAST to receive 20% off. Hey, Mom. Welcome to the studio.
Oh, thank you, girls. I love being here. It's so fun.
Our mom, she loves podcasts. So she is really into the whole studio and
you just got into the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Day and night. I love it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. So we wanted to talk to you first, Mom, about how we say you're so confident, but I don't even know this as your daughter. Were you always confident?
I guess. I mean, that was just part of my personality. My mother, your grandmother.
Who was a redhead.
Yeah, she was a redhead. And she would walk into a room and she'd say, I walk in like I own the place. And she'd chuckle because, obviously she didn't own the place.
But she had that.
She had that. And I think it's just something we do.
Yeah. I love that. So I know when you met Dad and then you had us, were you still so confident? It's just always been something that you've had?
Sure. I mean, in order to go on and keep pursuing your dreams and your life, you have to. You have to have that confidence because that's what keeps you going.
Like
Yeah.
you needed confidence to go up to Dad and say, "Are you going to ask me out?"
I did. I did ask your father out. I know he almost fell down. He says, "What?" I said, "You keep coming into work to see me." And I said, "Are you going to ask me out or am I going to ask you?" And he just went, "Wow."
And they've been married 34 years
Yes.
in a couple months.
Yeah.
So Stephanie and I wanted to kind of start this where we had a really, really popular post. We've had literally millions and millions of people comment and share on this post. And it was titled 10 Things to Know About Having a Redhead Baby, but it was also 10 Things to Know About Having a Redhead Child. And so a lot of people were commenting who are aunts or uncles or family members or moms or dads saying, I can totally relate to this post. So we
Right.
thought it would be really fun to break down the 10 things and kind of you can share stories about how it was raising us and if you have any advice too along the way.
Okay, sure.
So people will comment on the red hair constantly. Oh, that red hair is so cute. Women pay hundreds to get that color. Did you hear that throughout our childhood?
Oh, sure. I mean, I remember holding both your hands going in and out of the stores and the malls. And a lady, this one particular one, just stopped in her tracks and she said, "That's the color I have been wanting all my life." And then there would be people saying, "Well, what color do you, what number red do you put on their hair?"
As if you dyed it. Like you went into a drugstore and got
Yeah.
a box.
And you were like 5 and 7, and I'm going, "What?"
Moms
No.
do that? You think moms really dye their kids' hair?
I don't know. I've never known anyone, and then I would also have ladies that would come up and say, "Oh, can I just touch their hair?"
And would you let them?
Well, I would just kind of like stand as a statue and go, "Okay, they're touching my daughter's head." But it was usually very sweet. You know, they just wanted to touch your hair.
And like make sure it was real almost. What
Probably.
about sun protection, Mom? You were always really big on sun protection.
Mhm.
I
Although Stephanie wishes she wore more.
When I played tennis, I never wore sunscreen outside. You remember?
Mm.
We would go get ice cream after.
We were probably running late, unfortunately. I know now they have some great sunscreens out there that are sports related where you don't sweat it off. And
So we didn't have that back then?
I don't know because we might have tried some and they might have gone in your eyes.
And you didn't like it, Steph.
Do you remember,
didn't
though,
like the
we
sunscreen.
always had the Aveeno oatmeal bath underneath the sink. So in case any of us got a sunburn, we would take that bath.
It was
Mhm.
very soothing.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great stuff.
But
Mom, you always did have sunscreen though and aloe and sun protection because our dad is a redhead. So
Mhm.
you were always very cautious about everyone.
and he's a golfer, so I think he always had to wear sunscreen.
we were
being fair.
growing up in Rhode Island too. I mean, we never went to the beach as a family. But that wasn't something that we did.
No, because Dad hates the beach.
Oh, he hates the beach.
He can't swim.
He can't swim that well. He hated the sand in his eyes. And then
I almost drowned a couple times.
oh, I know. I felt so bad, but I was right there. You weren't
Were
going.
you?
I just saw recently that a study is showing that a lot of accidents are happening at the beach because a lot of parents are on their iPhones and they're getting distracted. So what was your excuse?
Mm.
You didn't have iPhones back then.
Well, we were at the,
Chardonnay.
no. Well, the Chardonnay could have had could have been an issue. However, I was literally 4 feet from you, And what you did in the pool is
I know. I was trying to
and
compete with Adrian.
well, she was already in the deep end. And I remember I made sure both of you had swim lessons. But Stephanie all of a sudden did not know this pool, and she was walking from the shallow, and all of a sudden you're in the deep and you're underwater.
And that guy had to come rescue me.
The guy says, hey, your daughter is going under over here. I go, I'm right here, and here you are.
So back to sunscreen. Was it very common to apply baby sunscreen
When we
on
were
babies?
babies, yeah, like when we were babies, did you always make sure we had a hat and sunscreen on?
Well, the hat was very important. And I know when we used to vacation, in Florida, we made, you always covered up. You always had a shirt on. But I remember Adrian getting a sunburn.
Like
under
through the clothes.
Through the clothes. But we would always try to apply definitely on the face, the nose especially. And then, but sunscreens have come a long ways because back in the day when I was a swimmer, competitive for 10 years, all we had was the zinc oxide, the white, pure white. And you had this white nose, and it was kind of a cool look because that was all they had then.
Yeah.
So, but now they have it where it blends in,
you can spray it and it's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember we had sunscreens back in the day when you guys were growing up, and they were good, but they're just better now.
Right. Let's do number 3. People will always ask you if you're the parent, especially if you don't have red hair.
Did you experience that?
Oh boy, did I! I remember it at your school function. Remember, they would say, "Oh, we're looking for the mother of the Redheads." So I stepped up, and they go, "No, not you. We're looking for the mother." And I said, "I'm the mother. They're my daughters." Well, and they would just do a double take because here I am, blonde. I have a lot of red tones in my skin.
You're very fair.
I'm very fair.
But you do tan really well.
I do get a good tan, but I always make sure I have protection on my face.
Growing up, did they know Dad was the father because he had auburn red hair?
Oh, he had the most beautiful auburn hair when I met him.
So did they ever ask him questions, or they just assumed that that's where we got our red hair from?
No,
we do look like him too.
When you were little and he'd have both of your hands, he was in the middle holding both of your hands, and you would walk with him. It was just shake your head like, oh my gosh, he is the father. Look at these two girls. They look just like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody would say that.
Number 4, you'll get the question, where did the red hair come from?
Well, both of your grandmothers were redheads. I have both nephews have a lot of red tones.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
My uncles, my mother was a redhead, and she was one of 7 kids.
And she never went white, Mom. She never colored her hair.
No, she never colored it. She had the most beautiful strawberry blonde hair.
Yeah.
And
her name was Lucille.
Lucille, yeah.
Lucille
yeah.
Ball.
And my dad, actually, he was a full-blooded Swedish. And he actually had blonde hair when he was young. It actually went very dark.
Mm-hmm.
So not so much on his side did the red hair come from, but Grammy, my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So would you have to tell strangers this? Would they come up to you when we were younger and ask, where's the red hair from?
Exactly. They'd say, oh, and I'd always have to explain that both of your grandmothers, and then Michael, your dad,
right?
He had, like I said, he had the most beautiful auburn
When
hair.
did he turn white?
About when you two were teenagers.
We stressed him out.
The color just left forever.
Like, do you remember Dad turning white? I don't.
I remember him always being white. My memory of him is with white hair. I don't ever remember him with anything else.
Plus, he has the curl.
Yeah.
Now you two girls.
We got the curly hair from him. We
You
definitely
do,
did.
remember?
Yeah.
Because my hair is straight.
Stick straight.
Except I do have a little natural
Yeah,
wave.
you think you do.
I have
Okay.
this.
Next question. You will also get the question, were you shocked you had a redhead baby? It's incredibly rare. Only 4% of the world's population has the gene. So did you get that a lot? Were you shocked first, I guess, when we were born?
Were you and Dad expecting redhead kids?
Right.
Did you ever talk about it?
No, I actually thought I knew you were going to have light hair. You know, the brown and the dark brown was not even in our thought process.
Because even though Dad's Italian, the red hair comes from him too. So
Oh, sure. Oh my God, I was shocked. I was. Adrian, the nurse, she's saying, "Okay, here comes the baby, and it's a blonde." And I'm going, "Oh, okay, yeah." And then she goes, "Oh, wait a minute, red hair."
I'm sure a lot of parents are surprised. Like we have a cousin, Mom, Terry,
Yeah.
and she,
Oh my God.
Her daughter, Kira's hair is so
but she
red.
has olive skin and black hair.
Oh,
And she is so, and then her boyfriend is brown, tan skin. And they had like the most beautiful redhead baby with porcelain skin.
I know.
It
And
came
It
out
goes
of nowhere.
back generations
It
and
does.
generations.
Yeah.
it sneaks in there.
Did you ever bond with another mother, whether it was in public or at a function, who also had a redhead baby or toddler? Did that ever come about?
Do you bond with other women, Mom?
I do.
That's a good question.
I do bond, but you know, there has to be mutual.
Yeah.
You know, and
So that's a no.
well, having small kids, you're so busy with your own that you're not. You know, I mean, you're comparing. But even now, I'll run into someone and I'll say, "Oh." They'll have like a 3 or a 5-year-old, you know, the age difference like you. And I'll say, I have 2 daughters that are redheads. And I remember when they were that age and they're so cute. You know, they were minding, you know, and they could stay in one
Behaving.
spot. They weren't running around. And
I
so
feel like the next question is pretty common, but people don't even know it.
Redheads tend to feel more pain.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Mom?
I learned it from you, and I never put the 2 and 2 together, but it does make so much sense.
Mom, I really hated getting shots growing up.
Oh my God, you would
Remember?
run around the doctor's
Oh,
office
I
like
hated
a
it.
maniac.
I hated it.
Well, as soon as the nurses would see you 2 come in for your annual shots, they'd say, "Oh, the Vendetti sisters are here." And they would have to go in and hold you down.
Yeah.
Just briefly, you know, nothing, just, okay, here it is. Here's the shot. Bam, you go. Now, Stephanie, I remember taking her to the dentist and she's in the chair. They haven't even touched her. And she is screaming bloody murder.
I do remember, Stephanie, that had to be painful. You had teeth taken out to make room for your braces. Do you remember?
It was room for my braces, and then I needed to get teeth taken out for my wisdom teeth, right?
You had too many.
I had to get teeth taken out for my braces in 2nd grade. I do remember that.
And you had too many in your jaw.
Oh, that was
Mhm.
so painful.
That must have been painful.
And Mom, when I had my wisdom teeth,
Mm.
the
Oh.
doctor told Mom that I wouldn't be able to handle anesthesia, which is the next one.
Yeah.
That we might
And
not be able
redheads
to
are
handle
tended to
anesthesia.
need more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, Josh, didn't he need more when he...
Yeah,
Josh is Adrian's husband.
Yeah, he
listening.
actually, his mom is a redhead. And so she knew about it. And so they were trying to communicate with the doctor. He was having finger surgery. His whole finger was getting reconstructed. And so the mom, Cheryl, told the doctor, listen, my son is a redhead and he's going to need more anesthesia. and they didn't listen to him. And so midway into the surgery, he woke
up.
up.
Oh my gosh.
And the anesthesiologist was shocked, and they had to give him more, but it was too much. He slept for almost 2 days.
Wow.
Because it was too much. So I think a lot of doctors who we've talked with in the past, and perhaps we should do a whole episode just on like the medical fascination with people with red hair. But I really feel like it is something that people should know and talk to their doctor about if they're going to be under, because it could affect you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking back of, when I needed a procedure, and I never had a problem, but I guess, it's out there. I mean, it's definitely true.
So, Mom, do you feel like parents, this is number 9, that they never get sick of the red hair? You never got sick of looking at our red hair? You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Also, she's the mother.
You created it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, how can you get sick of beauty and love?
Oh,
Aw.
Mom, that's so touching.
Yeah. I mean, how can you? It's just part of you. That's who you are. And embrace it and love it. Sure.
You're going to love this one. It's the last one. So all babies can be opinionated, but redhead babies will tell you when they are unhappy.
Did you feel like we were opinionated from the start?
Oh,
Maybe you more than me.
you had a strong personality, Adrian. You were not going to wait to even walk. You rolled. You rolled. I mean, 1 second you're in one spot and then you're under the table because you just would not keep still. You wanted to get life going. And you would crawl. You rolled, crawled, and walked. And Stephanie tried to, once she saw you and she was ready to crawl, she wasn't quite sure how to coordinate it at first, but she was ready.
I just thought of something when Dad was younger, being opinionated, and that woman turned around and said something about his red hair, and he slapped her.
Oh, he had an attitude. He was 5.
Like, I think
He was really feisty.
This is the story from your grandmother. She took him out. It was in New England. He had a new camel hair coat with the matching cap with that fiery red hair of his. And a lady stood. She was in front of him. She turns around and bends down, and she's just a few inches from his face. And she says, "Oh, aren't you cute?" And your father slapped her. Oh my gosh, Rosemary, what was she going to do? And he was fresh. He was fresh. You guys had you double up and kind of go against
Especially
me.
at the grocery store. Remember,
Yeah.
we would run all around, and then you would hear, 2 daughters are waiting for their mother, Jan. Please come to the front of the store.
Oh, I would embarrass you.
Or you would do it to us.
Yeah, you would say calling Adrian and Stephanie, and we were so embarrassed.
I know.
Yeah, they go, "Why did you do that, Mom?" And I said, "Well, don't run away." And then one time I took you to the store and I said, "Look, go get something you'd really like to have. Put it in the basket. And if you're good at the end, then I'll get it for you." Well, you guys threw yourself to the floor. You were having a fit.
Did we get better as we got older, though?
Yes. It was. I never took you to the store again.
So, Mom, we've talked about confidence, and we've talked about how Stephanie and I owe a lot to you. What advice do you have for moms who maybe like they had a redhead kid, or they know of someone who has red hair and the little redhead is not going to embrace their red hair, or they're not sure if their redhead is going to have confidence?
They're not comfortable in their own skin.
What advice do you have for them?
Well, I would just say, first of all, find out whether it's a boy or girl, what would make them happy? Would they like their hair a little longer? Would bangs be, more attractive for them?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just need some help with some hair products to make, let's face it, nothing's prettier than, no matter what color hair you have, but to make it sure it's conditioned
Mm-hmm.
and a good cut for their face.
Yeah.
And, I think it's just being the best that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
And you just need to find out, say, well, would you like your hair longer? Do you want to grow it? Or would you like to have a short cut like your friend? This kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just find out what they would like.
And then what advice would you give for a son or daughter or a child who is experiencing bullying? Because, I remember growing up and I don't know some of the exact circumstances and what happened, but I remember coming home one day and I told you something about some bullying that happened, whether it was with me or a friend, and you gave me great advice that they're the ones who have the self-confidence issues.
Well, exactly. I think a lot of people aren't aware of what they do can hurt someone. Or maybe they want your attention, but they don't know how to go about it. So they pick on you for your color hair, or maybe you're short, tall, fat, or thin. But maybe they're not going at it the best way, but you just have to let them know who you really are and that you won't accept the bullying.
And that you love your red hair. I think that's
Right.
a really good tip.
We always say that.
Yeah, we always say that. Like when I used to get
Yeah.
picked on, I'd be like, well, I love my red hair. What are they going to say to that? Oh,
Ex-
okay. Well, she
Right.
really loves who she is. I'm just going to keep picking on her. Like, no, they love when you seem to get hurt by
Mhm.
it. They want to hurt you.
Right.
So if you're like, no, I love my hair. No.
Yeah, exactly. And it might be, you might be really the first redhead, red hair that they're aware of. I
Right.
mean,
They've never met another
So
redhead.
of course they're going to pick on someone who's different with
mhm.
someone with red hair, right?
It's an easy target.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to also talk about me going blonde, Mom.
Mm.
So I
Stephanie.
I got highlights when I was in the 4th grade.
Mhm.
And then it kind of didn't stop from there until I was about, I think it's sophomore in college.
Mhm.
So I would get a lot of partial highlights and then full highlights.
Dad hated how much money you spent on your hair.
I know. It was ridiculous.
Mm.
If I look back, it was a stupid decision. But I guess why did you allow me to get my hair done at such an early age? I remember I got that horrible haircut. It was only supposed to be a trim, and she cut maybe 10 inches off, and I came to school with a bob. I was mortified.
It wasn't even any layers either. It was like a puffy bob.
Well, also, it was towards the end of school, so yeah, it was really humid out,
yeah.
and I had this poofy hair with these streaks of blonde.
I do remember that.
But why did you allow me to get my hair done? And then what advice would you give moms who are also maybe experiencing the same, where their son or daughter want to get highlights?
Well, I think when you had that one haircut, the rest of them were pretty good. but I really didn't want you to color your hair, but you insisted. And so we went ahead, I think, and you had some highlights. And then it just got lighter and lighter.
Right.
And then you have the growth. And then once you have that growth, you either have to, what are you going to do with that?
Mhm.
So I went along with it because that's what you wanted at the time. But your dad and I were always saying, oh, gee, when is she going to quit covering up that beautiful red hair?
So you just wanted to get it out of my system?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you felt very strong about it. I thought you have fair skin, so you made a beautiful, it was beautiful on you. But
It also looked really dry. When I look back at photos, it was very coarse and all the bleach really damaged my hair.
well, exactly. And after a while, that's what happens when you do that, because the color it's really damaging your hair after you do it time after time
Right.
after time. But I just, at the time, that's what you wanted to do. And they did do a good job. Very expensive though.
I know I would save all my money.
You would.
And
I
then,
would even go to places and get cash back, like $20
well,
and
you
save
can
it.
you can say
Confession.
it cost you a lot of money, but for some reason you always forgot your wallet when I was around. So it was like, oh, Mom, can you pay for
That's
this
typical
today?
Stephanie, though.
But then I was happy once Kira could color my hair.
Kira's our
Mhm.
very, very good friend who now works for L'Oreal, and we'll have her on an episode. But
She used to dye my. She used to color my hair.
She did a beautiful job. She did a
Yeah.
beautiful,
Well, I'm happy I got it out of my system now because now look. I mean,
beautiful.
I'm a redhead.
You are both
Forever and
beautiful,
ever.
and you take very good care of your hair. And that was one thing that I passed on to you, because I was really one of the only girls in my family that embraced beauty products, especially for the hair, So I look at that, and you girls did too. It was important for you to have the right shampoo and the conditioner, and make sure you had sunscreen or something on your skin and your hair. I mean, they have sunscreen for your hair now.
Yeah. We do.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we wanted to talk about beauty tips, and specifically for people who are growing up as redheads, and they're kind of, maybe their moms are listening in or someone close to them and wondering what they should do, when's too early to wear makeup. So when did you let us start wearing makeup? Specifically maybe just mascara.
We went to Clinique. You were friends with.
Well,
Remember
Nana gave us our first mascara, and I don't think Mom cared that we were wearing it.
No, but remember at the PPM Clinique, you were the makeup artist there. I can picture her. I forgot her name.
Oh,
You
Mom,
befriended her.
Oh, I think her name was Anne.
Anne.
Yeah.
Clinique, and we went to Clinique, and you got us a
That's
compact.
right.
You got us a compact foundation.
It wasn't the liquid, though. It was
No,
powder.
it was powder because you said we needed to start with powder.
Well, the powder, I like the powder because it gives you a nice matte finish, so you have that nice, so if there's any moisture like in the T-zone, you can kind of cover that up and just pat it dry.
So do you powder throughout the day? I've caught you.
It depends. It depends because of the humidity and if I've been indoors all day or have I been out.
But you do carry one with you everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I feel like, Mom, growing up for me was really hard because I had really, really light eyebrows and light eyelashes. And I feel like just this morning when we were putting on our makeup together in the bathroom, I was like, oh, I'm so happy that I know that I have just this really pretty Urban Decay brown eyeliner on today.
I love that copper on you.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It is.
And then with black mascara. And when I was growing up, it really changed everything when I learned to just kind of enhance those really, really light features on my face. Because it was so when you're growing up, it's another way to kind of what you said, maybe you need to get more confidence, you should get a good hair product or you should do certain things. And for me, that was mascara. Mascara and eyebrow product was really important for me because it really shapes up your whole face and makes you look so great.
Eyebrows are everything, I think.
Yeah.
They really shape your face. I look back at photos when I never penciled in my eyebrows and we were just getting them threaded and they were so small and they just they don't complement. If they're not done, I noticed a big difference.
Mom, my memory of you growing up is you always had a lot of eye makeup on and you slept with your makeup.
Well,
Do you remember? She
Yes.
always woke up with makeup on.
And you also made us late for school because you had to put makeup on.
well, I wanted to, the old saying is, what if you break down? I mean, you want
And you always see people when you have no makeup on. Don't you feel like that?
Oh my
yeah.
God. I could have, looked drop dead gorgeous and I wouldn't see a soul. The time that I would throw a flip flop on, maybe sunglasses and a little lip, little gloss or something. Oh my gosh, I'd run into someone.
And Mom, I feel like a lot of redheads have redness on their cheeks. And I know you do too. And this morning we were talking about the color wheel and going the opposite of the color wheel. Stephanie, you were talking about it too.
So I like to use yellow underneath my eyes before applying concealer because I have a lot of blue undertone underneath my eyes. So I've learned that really works for me. And I was always doing kind of like a reddish underneath my concealer, but it would kind of sink in my eyes. So this kind of makes it a little bit more brighter.
Mm.
But do you do any of that?
Certainly. I'm blotchy. I have a lot of, my cheeks are red, but my chin, and I probably have rosacea, which I have been diagnosed with slightly, but it's not inflamed. So what I do is for my chin and my cheeks, I'll put the concealer.
Okay.
And it has a yellow base, and
So
I
does
just
mine,
pat
yeah.
it. And then if I get a little blemish, and I'm not able to maybe get rid of it the night before, then once I have my primer on, I'll see what's coming through, and then I'll just put a little bit of the concealer on that blemish, and then I pat my powder on.
Great tip.
Because if you're blotchy, it's going to come through the powder if you don't use a concealer. That's what I found.
Yeah. That's so true.
So what's the one beauty product you can't live without?
For my face?
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to say primer.
Primer is awesome.
Oh, it fills in those fine lines. It fills in those pores around your nose and under your eyes. And it just gives you that overall youthful look.
And what's your favorite brand?
Oh, it's the Lancome.
It's the La Base Pro Perfecting Makeup Primer.
It goes on like velvet.
Yeah, it does feel nice.
And it's oil-free.
It's oil-free, and that's why,
your skin does look great right now.
Thank you. And I love it. It's light. It's not heavy. And it just goes on.
Do you put it on your neck?
Oh, do not. Remember I taught you to.
Never forget your
Don't
forget your neck.
forget the neck, because nothing's worse than you see the face and the neck has been neglected.
Yeah. It's one and the same.
Oh my gosh, because there's the eyes, there's the nose, mouth, and what?
So you put primer on your neck?
Oh, sure. And if you've ever noticed, your skin should try to feel as soft as it is, right? Go underneath your chin and right there. See how soft it is right there?
Yeah, it does.
Just before the neck starts. That's really how your skin should feel. Because if you think about it, the sun really doesn't get there too much.
No, it doesn't. That's probably why I don't have any freckles underneath my chin. Like my neck area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've always, Stephanie, you've always had more freckles.
Right.
Yeah, but they've kind of faded.
I think over the years.
Yeah.
She gets chemical peels too to help with pigmentation.
Oh,
So it really helps.
that's right.
But I still love my freckles and I still have a lot. But I like the chemical peels because I was noticing that my skin tone was looking really uneven. So it kind of makes it all kind of go together because you are working with pigmentation. But I'm not doing it to erase the freckles. Because I love my freckles. And I think that's one thing I always disliked growing up were my freckles. But now I love them.
Mm,
Mom,
beautiful.
Susan Simonelli, who we've talked about in a previous episode, but I know that she gave you a facial when we were in the city.
Yes.
And she did a UV light on you and found out that you have no damage.
Yeah, I was shocked because here I am. I'm 67.
Look,
And-
25.
Oh, thank
Oh.
you. Ooh. And, I was like, as I mentioned, I was a swimmer. So I had that chlorine for years and years, but I always tried to moisturize. And along with primer, I know I said primer is the most important. I don't think I'd go out of the house without primer, but the moisturizer. I mean, when I look at someone's skin,
And they don't use moisturizer.
Oh,
I
you can
want
tell.
I want to take my moisturizer out and go, my gosh, here, just please.
And I think a lot of people, like Josh, he didn't grow up with lotion. And now for the past 5 years or so that he's actually been religiously putting on, he knows the feeling of having dry skin. But he told me all those years, he thought that that's how skin was supposed to feel, tight.
I always,
Right.
I always tell Brian too, don't forget your elbows. You taught us
Elbows, you can when they're ashing.
Oh.
So I make sure that he applies it on his elbows because you don't want to be that person that has those cracked elbows.
exactly, and that's where the moisturizer at the bedstand
Is
that's
your
where,
nightstand is the best. I
yeah,
agree.
because you're going to bed at night, of course, and that's the perfect time. So it has all night to take care of that, because I know you've seen those elbows that just are dying for that
I know.
moisturizer.
The same thing. I love to put a foot cream on before bed because then you're nice and snuggly into your sheets and your
Yeah.
feet are nice and hydrated.
Especially if it has lavender in it.
I know.
huh?
I love lavender.
I do too. Well, Mom, thank you so much for giving us confidence. Who
Well,
knows? We might
you're
have never started
amazing.
How to Be a Redhead without you.
Well, thank you girls for having me. I'm just
You're our best
thrilled.
friend.
Thank you. Well, you're my best friends and Rocket. I'm just love to be part of it.
Woo.
The H2Bar Box, a monthly beauty subscription box for redheads. Each box is worth $80 plus, and each product is redhead friendly approved.
Head to h2barbox.com to subscribe and use code podcast to receive 20% off.
So I know everyone says this about their own mom, but our mom is amazing.
I know. We love her
world's
so
best.
much. We love her so much. And she's really just always there for us. And I know besides just being a redhead, she always gives us really good advice. And
She really does. Even whether it's back when I was single and now with Brian, gave awesome relationship advice, beauty advice, life advice.
And I was joking with her when we hung up about why she didn't bring up this one story. I was waiting for her to bring up. I was obsessed with my eyelashes when I was
You
a
were
teenager.
in high school.
Yeah. And I wanted really, really long eyelashes. And back then, eyelash extensions
Didn't
not-
really
no.
If they did exist, we didn't know about
No,
them.
and I didn't like the strips because they were too heavy. And I was obsessed with this mascara. We talked about it the other day. And you would put white on
It was
your
the
Yeah.
L'Oreal.
You would put white on your eyelashes, like a primer, and you would let it dry, and then you would layer on the black. But I would layer on too much. And I was literally, my mom said I was late for school because I was so focused on these eyelashes, but they were like spiders, like on my eyelashes. And I thought that they looked so good. And then I was also obsessed with Sunless Tanner. And
I
she let me go through
remember-
that stage.
I remember when you would take off your blouse after you got home because I always did the laundry in my family, and your whole neck would be on your blouse, would be
Full of
covered
makeup.
in foundation and
I know.
Sunless Tanner.
I know. It was so hard for me to love my
Where
skin.
was I during your mascara late days?
I don't know. Maybe Dad like took you to school and I like drove myself. I have no idea. But
Or
I was always
like,
running late.
track or something.
Yeah, I was always running late. So I think as you grow up too, you're like, I remember my mom used to say to us, "Wow, you are going to realize as you get older that you have qualities about your mom, and they're going to come out."
And I think too, there's sometimes I read whether it's a beauty article or something in a magazine about some makeup tips. And most of the time, once I read those tips, I think to myself, oh my God, my mom taught me that. I remember when we were really young and she said to outline the underneath your eye, like your waterline,
Yeah.
put a white eyeliner and that will make your eyes pop. And then you see it all over beauty articles now. I know we featured a product in the H2Bar Box, a white eyeliner to enhance your eyes. But that's something that I'm thinking to myself, looking back, I'm like, my mom taught me that when I was like 16 years old.
I know. I feel like it's a lot of timeless tips that we get from her.
Yeah.
Which is always really cool.
And I think as we're growing up and learning more as we grow, but in the beauty world and as women, that our mom taught us some really lifelong lessons and advice.
And I think too, what she let us do is she let us be who we were.
Right.
Whether that was you going blonde or me having eyelash issues or
that looked like caterpillars
or putting too much sunless tan on. She let us go through the stages because she didn't want to be overbearing. And I think that let us have a lot of individuality.
I agree.
Yeah. So we're very thankful for that. And we'll definitely have to have her back and talk more about mom things.
Yeah, definitely. Rock like a redhead.